This is ContactTalkRadio.com. Consciousness in action. And you are taking action into your consciousness by tuning into Contact Talk Radio.
And on TuneIn.com, Hing.fm, and UpSnap Mobile.
Contact Talk Radio.
You're listening to Dear Venus with your host, Venus Andrecht.
Hi, well, how are you today? It's April 16th, 2013. Our topic today, well, we're going to try and reach a dead celebrity. I'm going to look for Annette Funicello from the Mickey Mouse Club. Remember her? And we'll get to that in a minute because, first of all, I want to just mention that I do readings on air. I also do phone readings, personal phone readings. And you can find out about my phone readings on my website, godisalwayshappy.com. And just look for readings, godisalwayshappy.com. On the air, I do talk to you all over the world. We can't spend as much time or go as in depth, of course, but we have a lot of fun and hopefully get some good stuff done. And here's the phone number. It's for all countries, 1-877-230-3062. That's 1-877-230-3062. And I just wanted to mention a testimonial because I like to do that. I've read for this lady. I'm going to call her Grace. That's not her real name. And I've read for her for a number of years now. And the last time we chatted, we talked about her sister. Her sister is 20 years older than she is. And she's always been mean to her ever since childhood. Now they're all grown up. But now, for example, when Grace makes a holiday meal for their old folks and asks the sister to come, the sister arrives like 3 hours late. And she pretends to be friendly and concerned about Grace, but picks huge fights. And then Grace will run to her room, and the sister comes tapping at the door saying, "Honey, what's the matter? Did I say something?" So she doesn't know how to deal with her sister. She's very angry with her, been angry ever since childhood. I went in and I saw some jealousy there from the sister because she always felt that this Grace was the favorite. And I also saw something interesting. I said, do you realize that she's not mentally okay? It's like she has Asperger's or something where she can't relate. Grace says her sister, by the way, she never thought of it that way, but she says her sister has had a boyfriend for years, and I looked into it, and, there's no connection between them. And she said, yeah, that's how it seems. So I went into detail and told Grace how her sister thinks from being inside. I told her how she sees and feels, and then I told her that she needs to approach her as someone who is not okay exactly. And like I said, Grace had not realized that. She always took it personally. So there's more to it than that. We talked quite a bit about what she can do, how she can talk to her sister, how she can approach her, and why. And she sent me a nice note. She said, "Thanks again for a very meaningful and insightful reading. You allowed me a glimpse of the world through my sister's eyes in a way that I never would have seen it otherwise. It's really hard to try and empathize when you feel like you're always about to be attacked. At least now I know where it's coming from and can feel a greater sense of compassion for her. I'll try my best to help her where I can." And then she goes on to say, "I hope it wasn't too emotionally draining for you. I was afraid it might be and had pondered canceling our phone session because I was afraid I might be putting you through too much." And I wrote her a note back and just said, "Ha, ha, ha, believe me, I get into much, much worse than that, but thank you for thinking of my welfare. That's very sweet of you." And so there was that note. And, I was looking through the paper today and I found something that kind of fit in with her story. There's a phobia, and it's called Syngesophia, Syngesophia. And this phobia is, believe it or not, a fear of relatives. I thought it was pretty cool. What do you think? Anyway, so let's get to Annette now. Annette only passed a couple of weeks ago, I think. And so I've often said to you, I don't like to look for people who've just died because too often I can't find them. They're busy getting reoriented or they're between stages or waiting, or it could be anything. But, that's not always true. Because sometimes they're fine. They're right there. They've slipped out and they're right there. Now with Annette, let me just mention, she was a Walt Disney girl, for those of you who don't know. She died, she was 70, but she was very popular in the 1950s. Walt Disney had the Mouseketeers. You remember the Mouseketeers? So she was one of them. She was very popular, and she did a lot of movies with, I think it was Frankie Avalon, right? And the Beach movies. And apparently she was very close with Walt Disney. He mentored her, and all the other girls in the movies, etc., wore two-piece bikinis, that whole thing. And he told her, don't ever do that. You have to maintain your dignity and your modesty. Always wear a one-piece. So she did. And when you'd see her in a two-piece, it's like really high up. He said, never show your navel. Anyway, so she was that kind of girl. She was a really nice person, a beautiful lady. And after a while, though, I can't remember how long has it been, 20 or 30 years, she got multiple sclerosis, MS. And it gradually just took away everything from her. She ended up in a wheelchair. She couldn't move. She couldn't talk. She couldn't eat. She couldn't do anything. And so she suffered a lot for a long time. And my feeling was, when I looked at her, that she had been like in and out of the body for a long time. So she was on the other side, you might say, or in between and here. So I felt like she's more able to navigate because she'd been doing that. And when I thought about her last week, I got the sense that she was just jumping for joy and levitating. I got a word, something like that. I can't remember exactly the word. Moving, just enjoying herself, moving, because she hadn't been able to do that for so long. So I thought maybe I'd try and reach her. And then last night and this morning, I kept thinking about, of all people, Anne Margaret, the movie star, you remember her? And her husband, Roger, was it Roger Smith? I can't remember at the moment, but her husband has MS. He got MS. And I kept Googling to see if he was dead or alive. I think he's alive. But every time, anyway, these places where you can find out, places that wanted to talk about that, they wouldn't come up for me. They wouldn't Google up. Other things would. I thought that was weird. And I thought, well, why do I keep thinking of that? And what I'm thinking is, and I think I might have been getting this from Annette, was she must have been friends with him, because they had a similar situation. And my feeling was that she was trying to tell him, it's great out here. Don't worry about it. Things are great. You're not always going to be like that. She wanted to get him some kind of message. That's all I could figure from it, because I was certainly puzzled by it. Okay, let me see. Let's see if we can reach her now. I've been reaching her on and off, so let's hope she shows up now. All right, Annette. Annette, this is Venus, and we're on the radio here. And you have got a lot of fans out here who would like to hear from you and how you're doing. So let me see. Annette, please bring Annette to me. It's like I go someplace to see the dead. They usually come out of like a vestibule or something on their own, or somebody comes with them and they stand. It's like I see them, but in a different way. And then I chat with them that way. I often just talk to them by looking at them. Sometimes I go into their heads. So I feel like I have her here. So Annette, what's going on? How are you feeling? What's going on? How do you feel now that you've passed over? She said there's a rainbow of colors here. She just showed me a big rainbow, like somewhere over the rainbow. Judy Garland thing, my mother uses that as her theme song, you might say, now that she's passed over. But anyway, Annette just showed me that, this big rainbow, somewhere over the rainbow. And she said it's true that when you pass out of your body, when you die or whatever, you go to this beautiful place. And it's like the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. She said it was well worth waiting for. She said she doesn't regret the time she spent on Earth, but it wasn't a lot of fun. She did say, she's saying though, she's quick to say that I was very lucky in many ways. I was famous, I had money. She was married twice, she's referring to that, and she had a husband she was happy with, and he was good to her. He went through all this with her too. And so she said, she's looking back at that, and I was just asking her when I got quiet there, well, do you know why you were here on earth living that? Why did you have to go through that? Have you found that out yet? Let me see if she has any ideas about that. She says mainly she's just been meeting and re-meeting people from the movie colony, friends of hers, family. She said there's a lot of people to meet here. They've all been so kind and so happy to see me, and I'm so happy to see them. She said, I really haven't thought much yet about that life. I said, well, a lot of people say you do a life review. Do you know anything about that? She says, only that at some point she will go over the life and see what it really meant and why she did it. But everybody here assures me, she said, that it's all okay. Whatever happens to any of us or whatever we do or how we live, it's always all right. It makes sense in the end. And we do get to have an understanding. And she said she was religious. She had a faith. I don't know if that's true or not. I didn't read that anywhere, I don't think. But she said she leaned on her faith and her religion and on the earth life, and that it helped her a lot. It got her through, along with her family and the people who were so good to her. And she said, I'm just counting my blessings. I'm just counting my blessings now. And she said, I'm just running free. And she showed me a dog. I don't know if it's a dog of hers. It's like a German Shepherd. Could be a dog of hers, or just the fact that she's running free like that, where she can get out and just run and move. And she says, I just feel delighted. I just feel delighted because I'm myself again. What I remember back in time. And I said, well, maybe we can talk to you sometime when you've been there longer and you know more what's going on. She's just talking about gold, golden colors, gold at the end of the rainbow. There's gold here. And I don't know what that means, but it means something to her. There's the golden pot at the end of the rainbow. And it was well worth waiting for. She's just talking about that. All right, Annette, is there anything else you want to say before I'll let you go? Because obviously you got a lot to do. Just thanking all her many fans and the people who cared about her and that she heard from all through the years when she was no longer in the news or famous. And she said there were a lot of people who kept up with me and sent me good wishes and sent me cards and letters, and they didn't forget me. And she says, I want you to know I haven't forgotten you. I was very fortunate and very lucky in my life. So thank you, Annette. So obviously she has a good attitude. I mean, it seems like she's looking back on the life she had and that she was feeling that she was lucky, even though she had all the issues she had, and don't we all? Okay, give me a second here to get myself back. And I just wanted to read something interesting to you. I think it's interesting. People ask me all the time, the people who read my newsletter, the Juicy News, they ask me about further outcomes. The Juicy News, for you who don't know, is a newsletter I email out. I try and get it out twice a month. Often has stories about people I work with. I get permission to tell you their stories and what happens with me and them and outcomes, that kind of thing. So many of you who read the Juicy News ask me about further outcomes. They'll say, well, how so-and-so? A lot of people ask me about the woman whose boyfriend kicked her out on Christmas Day last Christmas. Do you remember that? I think it was 2012. He just came out on Christmas Day while she was making the Christmas meal for his friends and said, I want you out of here right now. Pack your bags. I've had enough of you. Because of you, my family won't come over, whatever. It was some trumped up thing. She'd had trouble with him a long time, but she'd been with him a number of years. Well, he kicked her out. And if you read that issue of the Juicy News, you know that she'd had this man friend for 20 years. And for a while now, she'd been thinking that she really was drawn to him and she had feelings for him. And we had gone through that when we'd worked together. She went over to see him and she told him what had happened and spent the night. And they've been basically together ever since. They're not living together, but they have a really good relationship. And they're very happy. And the old boyfriend, by the way, had promised to give her money every week to help her pay for her new place. But guess what? He's now reneged. And he says, because she's put $500 on her credit cards, which she has not. It's probably his kids that did it. And I got a report from the story. Do you remember the Juicy News story about the woman who was with the man? I called it the desiccated heart, I think, the dehydrated, desiccated heart. And I had worked with her and tried to bring some juice back into his heart, but I said I was not sure it would hold, something like that. I can't remember. Yeah, I called his heart dehydrated. It was a dehydrated heart. She wrote me, and let me see, where did I put that? Okay. Oh, here it is. Venus, thanks for that little mojo boost for my daughter, Callie. These names are changed, by the way. This is something else I had mentioned. She perked up quite a bit, and she's now seen the therapist once and liked him and will continue. As for blank and me, I guess I spoke too soon. I think he felt our closeness. It was there, believe me, and he got scared. The last 2 times I've spent with him, there has been a very palpable withdrawal in his energy toward me. It's physically and psychically painful to me and is just draining me. I can't tolerate it. Too bad. I thought we had a good thing going. I haven't said anything to him yet. Just saw him last night and this morning. I guess the man with the desiccated heart couldn't be rehydrated. And then she sent me another little update and said, I'm done with him. My heart isn't there right now. Isn't there anymore. Why would I put my hand back in the fire? Onward, she says. So that's where that sits. So I thought you might be interested in that. And I see it's break time, so let's take a short break. I'll be back, do a few more things. I'll take your calls and see what's going on with you. This is Venus Andrecht with the Dear Venus Show.
Do you love and benefit from the good energy mojos that Venus has on her website? Do you sometimes feel it when she tosses mojos to you on her radio show? If so, you will extra like her paintings and wall switches, because as Venus paints, she fills her work with powerful, good energy mojos. Venus says, when you have these on your walls, your home or workplace is always filled with good mojo to help things in your life go better for you. When you purchase this very popular art from Venus, she also puts a personal mojo in the piece just for you. You can see and purchase all this great energy art on artmojos.com. That's artmojos.com. Intentionally bring more power of the universe into your life. Many people say that Venus's paintings are always working for them. Let them work for you too.
Some people tell me they listen to my archive radio shows at night because I put them to sleep. When I complain, they say, oh, it's the sound of your voice, Venus. I love it because it relaxes me. Well, okay, that's good then. You can find all my archive shows on iTunes, Pinterest, and YouTube. To find my live and other archive shows, please go to my website, godisalwayshappy.com, and look under radio on my site. That's godisalwayshappy.com. And sleep tight. Don't let those bed bugs bite.
Want to win a phone reading with Venus? Venus announces a new winner's name every Tuesday on her Dear Venus show. It's easy to get in the possible winner's pot. Go to her website and look for the blue headphones. Click on them, and you'll get a free MP3 mojo from Venus called No Matter What Happens, Everything Is Always Okay. People say Venus's mojos bring many good results into their lives. Clicking on the blue headphones puts you on Venus's latest mailing list, where she draws the names for free readings. If you have never clicked on the blue headphones, you're not on the current list. Venus's website is godisalwayshappy.com. That's godisalwayshappy.com. And while you're there, look for more MP3 mojos that you can purchase for a nominal price. You'll be surprised at the happy results they may bring into your life. Are you ready to stop suffering over men? Are you seriously ready to be happy? Are you ready to have a great love life? Venus finally found the answers for an emotionally happy love life. She wrote the 5-star book about how you, too, can change your life with certain men, or even certain women. In it, you'll read the horrifying and funny true stories of Venus's former love life, and the true tales of many of her friends and clients, and how they all finally escaped the crying, whining, moaning, emotional trap to find real love and happiness. The ebook is titled Certain Men, How to Unlove Them, Unneed Them, and Replace Them with a Good Guy. It works with certain women, too. People say this book has saved their lives. You can read the first chapter on Venus's website, GodIsAlwaysHappy.com. You can find Certain Men as an inexpensive ebook at all the online bookstores. Certain Men. Are you ready to give them the boot? Are you ready for good love? Certain Men, the ebook by Venus Andrecht, now available at all online bookstores.
You're listening to Dear Venus with your host, Venus Andrecht.
Hi, welcome back. Glad you're here. Next show, next Tuesday. Every Tuesday, of course, we have a live show. That'll be April 23rd, 2013. Here's the topic. You may not have a disease. You may be allergic to food additives. We're going to talk about this because I think a lot of you think maybe there's something radically wrong with you, and it's really something you're eating in your food. We're going to talk about all those additives. I think there's 5,000 allowed in the United States, only 500 allowed in Europe. Anyway, better not get me going right now. And my blog called My True Life. You know, I have a new little blog come out every week. Usually comes out late Wednesday or Thursday. You can sign up for it. I haven't named it yet, but it's basically about an incident at the health food store. So that'll be at godisalwayshappy.com/blog, godisalwayshappy.com/blog. And when you find my articles on any one of them, you can sign up to get the, be subscribed, so it'll come into your inbox every day. I try and make it fun to give you a good laugh, make you feel better, help you along in life. All right, let's see. Why don't we just put this aside now and go to the phones and see what you guys are up to. I'm going to go with Kim, Houston, Texas. Hello, Kim.
Hi, Venus. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes. Hi. I had spoke with you several times before. I've kind of had private readings with you before, so it's really good for me to talk to you again. But
oh, good.
Thank you for taking my call.
Oh, you're so welcome. So what are you up to now?
Well, my widowed father, after 22 years, is deciding to get married.
Okay.
And his wedding is next Friday. But back in January, he called me and basically told me that there was no room for me in his wedding.
Wow.
Just
Why?
Bringing his explanation was it didn't even make sense. Something financial, or they were making it small. But he has my brother's girlfriend, and my brother, who has in some ways created a name for himself as a pretty successful musician in our area. So it's like I just feel like because I am not doing anything to make him look good, or that I don't feel worthy, and it's just brought all kind of other things to the surface in my life into dealing with him, and how I've always allowed myself to be a people pleaser because I've always wanted love from my only surviving parent, but he's always just been him, me, and all my life I've just been give, and his wedding is next Friday, and I don't want to go, but I'm afraid not to, and I'm just really confused as to how
Why are you afraid not to, Kim?
Because all my life I've just, whatever he's wanted, I've always been there, hoping that he'd love me, and I don't want to make him mad. I don't want to make him disappointed, and I don't want to have other people tell me I'm a bad daughter if I don't go. And I'm just, I don't want to, but I have this it's a habit. It's an old habit of just doing whatever I could do to make him appear like he's a good father, even though I'm hurting inside, and I've always kept it in.
He's always treated you badly? He's always treated you like this?
He's always been very dismissive of
you. Okay. Well, let's see what I can get. I was just letting you chat there because I just felt like you needed to get it out of your system and get it said. You know, sort of like draining a pussy pimple or something.
Yeah.
Something that hurts. Just get it said. And so I'm glad you did that. Now, Kim, how old are you? What do you do for a living?
I am 36, and I am a trainer for a software company.
Okay. Your father's first name, and what does he do in his age?
My father's first name is Joseph. He's a mechanic, and he's 61.
Okay. And do you know the bride, and how do you feel about her?
She just kind of seems like she's just fit into what he wants, because he's a very charismatic man who can say the most meaningful things, but because he has a smile and the way he comes at, you won't really, and he has a way of being able to manipulate things, which is why I haven't called him to tell him I'm upset about it, because I don't want him to manipulate the way I feel, because he just has that ability.
Okay, let me get started here. Okay, all righty. All right, I asked you a bunch of questions because I want to know what's going on, and so does the radio audience, and also it lets me know where I should go and what I should ask in the short time we have. So, let me go into you first of all, Kim. There we are, Kim. Kim. All right, I'm in your head. Let me just feel you a minute. You're also very angry with him.
Yes.
Ooh, do you know that? It's like bubbling under there like in a tar pit. You're really mad at this man. I think you've been angry with him a long time. If he fell into the tar pit, you'd boil him alive. If you don't know that, you need to think about it. Okay, let me hop over to Joseph. Is that what people call him, Joseph, or do they call him Joe?
Well, they actually call him Chopper. That's his nickname.
Chocolate?
Chopper, like a motorcycle chopper.
Oh, Chopper. Okay. Okay, Chopper. Let's call him Chopper since that's probably what he prefers. Chopper, I'm a friend of your daughter Kim's. Can I talk to you, please? I hear you're getting married. I just want to know how that's going. Chopper. So I'm in his head right now, just feeling him. And he's excited about this, and he's happy. Feels like he's happy about it. Okay, you've asked your daughter not to come. Why is that? Why have you asked your daughter not to come? You told her for financial reasons, etc., but you've asked the brother. What's the deal here? What's the reason? Is there a problem here? Why? I'm having trouble getting him to talk about this, or even if he knows why. I'm going to go to the girlfriend whose name is what?
Mary.
Maybe she knows. Mary. I'm a friend of Kim's, your fiance's daughter. Can I talk to you, please, Mary? Do you know why Kim's not invited to the wedding? Why is she not invited to the wedding? Well, it's what you said earlier. It's like she just lets him run it the way he wants to. It was his idea. She said she doesn't really ask questions. You know? This is weird because it's hard for me to get an answer. Let me get back to him again. Why isn't she invited? Why? Well, he has a guest list, and he does try and invite the people of note that make him look good. I think he's trying to surround himself with people who make him look good. Has he ever said unkind things to you about you aren't as pretty as you should be or could be, or you're not doing as well as you should be, or you don't make him look good? Have you ever felt like that?
Yes.
So, he would actually think those thoughts then. He would say those things. That's incredible that you have a father who only surrounds himself with people who make him look good. So to me, this tells me he's a narcissist, that he only thinks about himself and what he wants and how he looks, and he thinks nothing of keeping people off to the side who he doesn't think show him off or are as highly positioned as he thinks they should be. Okay? I guess this is not new to you then, right?
Not really, but to hear you say it is just, I feel like my heart is just deflated that my father would look at, to actually hear it is validation that just makes me, it just makes me so, It makes me feel so invisible.
Yes. And I'm sorry I was the one to say it. I don't like that. But, I always try and be truthful. And the way I see it, though, is that you are more high caliber than he is. That you have a better standard and are, I don't like to say a better person, but you have a higher state of mind than he does. Anyone who thinks this way about himself and the people in it, especially his own blood and family, there's something wrong with him, don't you think?
Yes.
There's something, I'm trying to think of the word. It's not moral. I don't like to make judgments that way, but it's that his standards or his way of thinking are not very high. They're pretty darn low. They're like an inch high, like you tower above him. And it's not your fault that he sees you this way or feels this way. He does it to other people too. He portions people out in his life according to their merit, according to him. It has nothing to do with you as a daughter, and it's not your fault that you have him as a father. I think what you should think about is being embarrassed that you have him as a father instead of him.
But the
instead of the other way
around. I feel sorry for him. And I feel like I want to protect him because I am embarrassed that he is so shallow and empty.
That's the word. He's shallow. That's the word. Very shallow, not mature spiritually, emotionally, that kind of thing. He runs on a different level than you do. So I would say by your being ostracized that you're actually being patted on the back or congratulated because of your stance and stature. You see? So you got to turn it around and look at it that way, that he's giving you a great compliment by disinviting you from his wedding. I would imagine that if you went there, you'd see a lot of the people there, or all of them, make him look good, big back patters, butt kissers, that kind of thing, or people that are well known or have some light they can shine on him. That's what I think you would find
I think
there.
that's what my mother was for him, and he was a cheater. He wasn't home. So I do have a lot of anger, but I want to live my life. I want to be away from that. I want him, if he's married now, let him live his life, and I want to finally live mine and feel appreciated and allow myself to feel appreciated.
Well, I appreciate
now
you.
I know he's never going to, don't thank you.
Now, I appreciate you, and I bet you every person listening appreciates you and is feeling that you got a raw deal on getting a dad like him. But, a lot of us got raw deals with the parents we got, or the husbands or the wives or the kids, It just happens that way in life. It's part of the deal. But what you need to do, I think, I see no reason why you should go to the wedding. For what, Unless, if you want to just show up and just to show him, fine. You're number one. You do whatever you want with the situation. If you want to go, go. If you don't want to go, don't go. If you don't want to ever see him again or talk to him, don't. If you do, do. You be in charge. You run the show. Don't let him run it. Don't let him run you.
Thank you.
He just is what... I hope you feel better. I hope I haven't made you feel worse, but you just be your lovely self. I think it's marvelous that you had a father like this, and yet you grew up the way you grew up to be what you are, and you haven't been ruined by him. You haven't been lowered by him. You know what I'm saying? There are some people who are in bad situations. Like I was married the second time to a guy who was just a horrible, terrible, awful, icky person in my mind once I found that out. But everything he did, for all the time I was with him, it never touched me. I don't know why. It could have changed me, but it didn't even touch me. You're like one of those. Your father didn't even, his way of being and saying hasn't touched you, except to make you sad and unhappy. But what I mean, it hasn't touched your core. It hasn't changed you or taken you to his level. You're still your own wonderful self. And so that's a victory right there, don't you think?
Yeah. Thank you.
And I'm sorry this has happened to you, but you know what? So many of us have people in our lives like this that really disappoint and hurt us. You got a lot of company, but you're the brightest star on the page here, not him. Okay, honey?
All right. Thank you, Venus.
I'll be thinking good thoughts for you, Kim. Bam, bam! Woo! Feel good. Happy, happy, happy! Bam, bam! That's for everybody out there, too. All right, Kim, let us know how you're doing, all right? Because I know people will want to know if you felt better, if you were able to take up and go from here and just live your own life at last.
Thank you, Venus. I will.
Success is the best revenge. You've heard that before.
Yeah, thank you.
Be your successful,
I feel
lovely
better.
self.
I feel better.
Oh, good. All right, honey. Thanks for the call.
Thanks, Venus.
All right. Wow. I know a lot of us have felt this, haven't we? That we just never have come up to snuff with people in our lives. And no matter what we've done or how lovable we've been, it hasn't made any darn difference. And who does it go back to? The person who's putting it on us almost every single time. And that's the truth. I've seen it in my own life several or more times. And, yeah, I have worked with Kim over the phone before, and she's a lovely girl, a lovely woman. And there's nothing wrong with her, because I know her, okay? All right, let me just, another short break here. We'll come back and see what's going on and take your calls. Venus Andrecht with the Dear Venus Show.
Attention business owners and entrepreneurs. Are you looking for help with your online marketing? Or do you need a beautifully designed custom website that you can edit yourself at an affordable price? Contact Heather at StudioThirdEye.com. She will make it happen for you online. From website design, branding, social media, to getting found on the internet. You can reach Heather at StudioThirdEye.com. Heather's professional and fair and has many happy clients from small and mid-sized businesses. Find her at StudioThirdEye.com. That's Studio, ThirdEye.com. Or you can email intuitiveinternet@gmail.com and tell her what you need to accomplish. Heather will make it easy for you.
Hi, I'm Venus's daughter, Summer McStravick, and as they say, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. That's why I think you might enjoy my podcast, Flow Dreaming. It airs live on Tuesday, right before Venus's show, or you can find it on iTunes or at my website, flowdreaming.com. I work with energy and I look in people's lives just like Venus, except I call what I do flow dreaming, and I teach other people to manifest and create in their lives using this flow energy too. So I hope you'll check out my podcast, Flow Dreaming, on iTunes, CTR, or at flowdreaming.com.
Venus thinks the world needs cheering up. Let me tell you, her blog certainly does that. Every week it's a true story about her life and the people in it. Here are a few comments. Oh, thank you. I am laughing so hard. Every Wednesday it's great to start my day like this. And love, love, love to read your blogs. You always make my day. I have emailed your blogs on to many people this year. And your blogs are profound, prophetic, and wise. They make me laugh and cry and everything in between. And, okay, Venus, I almost spewed coffee out of my nose reading this one. Too funny. By the way, her family subscribes to her blog for their own protection. You can subscribe too. Just look for the orange-colored feed at the top of the blog. You can find the latest and often harrowing adventures in Venus's life at godisalwayshappy.com/blog. That's godisalwayshappy.com/blog.
You're listening to Dear Venus with your host, Venus Andrecht.
Hi, welcome back. All right, talking about the Juicy News newsletter again for a moment here. I hope to have the next one out April 24th, 2013. And in that one, my plan is to talk about my afterlife portraits. Remember back in time, I asked you to help me get a name for them? I think I'm going to call them afterlife portraits. And I can't remember if somebody gave me that name or not. If you did, send me the email so I can give you a free reading. I promise to do that. So I'm going to have a photo of one of the portraits I've done. This is one I did for my friend Susan's brother. She lost her brother in the 1970s when he was 23. He was a co-pilot on a big jumbo jetliner, and the pilot had a heart attack and took the whole plane down with all the people in it in England. Killed them all. It was a big scandal, a big story. And I brought him through, and actually we were there together in person, so it was pretty interesting, things I was getting and feeling, what was happening as I did it. So I'll have a photo of that. And I'll also talk about how to get a free painting for yourself. I'm going to suggest that you email me with some short blurbs, very short, about getting a free painting of a pet who's passed or a family or loved one or somebody who's passed, and also how you can get a painting for yourself, the cost, how to get it, anyway, all that stuff. Let's see. And winner. Okay, we have a winner, because when you get the Juicy News, you know how to get that. You've got to be on the current mailing list to be in the winner's pot. Every week I have a person's name I pull for a reading with me on the phone. You've got to be in the current mailing list for that. And the way to do that, go to my website, GodIsAlwaysHappy.com. Look for the blue headphones where you see them. Just click there. You'll be on the latest mailing list. And you'll also get a free MP3 mojo of whatever happens. Everything is always okay. And I have a lot of mojos for sale, actually, for a nominal price. I want to read you a mojo testimonial. This is I read this on the radio about a lady she's the one who she programmed her alarm clock to go off at 6 a.m. to wake her up because she had so many things to do and she wanted to go work out. And she had it programmed just for the alarm to go off, but instead what went off the first morning was a mojo she bought from me called the Big Money Mojo. And she said she woke up screaming, to my screaming, money, 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 or whatever it was, and she leaped out of bed. And anyway, she told us that story, and I read it to you. Now I got a follow-up to that email. Dear Venus, I have to update you again about my last week in the Mojo and the iPhone alarm palaver. She couldn't figure out how it got there because she couldn't make it go there. But anyway, she said, I had the most traumatic week ever, including someone losing it in the office and throwing glass all over the place. Girlfriends having certain men problems, including me, but I stood my ground, and cancer scares both with a friend and in the family. Just so over the top, unbelievable, and I had to deal with it all. I tried to stick with my 6 a.m. morning routine with some success, not always. On one more occasion, I had the iPhone going off Big Money Mojo, but somehow mixed it. It was mixed with the standard iPhone alarm. I just thought, okay, yeah, right, I'll just soldier on. But this morning, I woke up 5 minutes before the alarm and glanced at it with a haughty eye. I said, I beat you. I beat you before you could alarm me. So I relaxed back into blissful snooze mode, and lo and behold, your cheery voice at exactly 6 a.m. said serenely, and I think it is at the start of your mojos, you said, God is always happy. And that was it. No standard alarm, no rest of the mojo, just, God is always happy. It was such a cheerful, serene start of the day. I just knew that I had overcome the worst, and I have felt great ever since then. I absolutely believe your mojos now. You have something very magical. Whatever it is you were doing, you were on to something, so keep on doing it. Love and light, Nina. Well, that is bizarre, I think. That is bizarre. I would find it so, too. All right, let's get back to the phones here. Oh, by the way, to find my mojos, go to my website, GodIsAlwaysHappy.com, and just look around for all the mojo information. So, let's see. Kathy in St. Louis. Kathy, St. Louis, what can I do for you today?
Hi, Venus.
Hello.
Thanks for taking my call.
Sure, what's up?
Well, for the last 2.5 years, I've been having periodic dreams about a teacher of mine.
Uh-huh.
And they don't feel like your typical dream. It feels more like he is choosing to enter my dreams.
Ah.
Yes. And, in reality, when I talk to him, he's very cold and distant and doesn't seem like there would be any reason why he would be doing that. But I'm consistently getting this, like once or twice a week. And
what
some
kind of
them
teacher?
feel,
What kind of teacher is he?
he's a healer.
Okay. And what does he say to you in the dreams?
Well, one time he told me that we had many lives together. Other times he's, just said things like, "Who are you?" Questions like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then other times it seems like a scenario where it's like a healing thing.
Uh-huh.
And then one time he did a psychic surgery on me,
Really?
which he said he did not do, but he does do psychic surgeries because I asked him if he did this on me, and he said no. But in the dream, it was clearly him, and the next day afterwards, I was physically sore in the spot of the surgery. And so I don't know.
What kind of a healer is he? I mean, what does he do? You take classes from him or what?
I have, yeah. I've taken classes from just like energy healing.
Okay. Well, I do know that many, many people tell me that I come to see them. They hear me talking to them during the day, at night, coming to see them in dreams or whatever. According to them, I'm extremely busy out there, and almost all the time I don't remember anything about it. But what I figure is, well, there's a lot to us, all of us, and we're out doing all kinds of things. So let me check and see what's happening here. What is his name? Can you tell me his first name or what you call him?
Darren.
Darren, okay. Darren, okay. About how old is this man?
I would say like 45.
Okay, how old are you?
40.
Okay. Let me go in through you, Kathy. Kathy, there you are. Okay, I'm going into Darren now. Darren, may I come talk to you, please? I have a friend of mine here named Kathy, and she says you keep coming to her in her dreams. Do you know about this? In regular life, you tell her it's not you, you're not doing that. But in your other life, while you're sleeping, do you know anything about this, or can you talk to me about this? He shows me like the handle of a rake, and at the end of the rake is one of those fan rakes. And like you scrape the ground with them, they're a softer rake than the other rakes. I got a sense that he has different parts to himself that go out to different people.
Mm-hmm.
It's those things on the rake, but longer.
Okay.
And I'm saying, but why do you show me a rake? It's like he's raking the ground, he's clearing the ground. With that, you rake up leaves and things, is what I know about that kind of rake.
Mm-hmm.
And so he feels he's cleaning the ground, raking up stuff. And so I think that he is doing things that he may not remember.
Okay.
That he is.
They also very romantic in nature quite often.
Okay, well, ask him about that too. But just let me finish this here. He feels at some level he goes out and cleans things up. Okay. All right. So she says that these are often in romantic in nature. What do you have to say about that? And he said sometimes that's how you get your best work done. Yeah. He said it's another form of energy. And that's interesting to me to hear that. Okay. So you're telling me in his regular life he just acts cold to you, like nothing's going on, no romantic stuff, nothing like that?
Right, but almost kind of like avoiding me in some ways.
Okay, okay. Let me see if I can go to another part of him for that. Okay, so are you avoiding her for some reason? Do you have thoughts on her? Do you have thoughts on... I have to keep mumbling here because you know how it is on the radio. You can't stop talking while you're looking for answers. He says he tries to hold to a very high standard. He tries not to mix the two. He thinks that wouldn't be right.
Yeah.
So I would say he's mixed up or confused a bit.
Okay.
That he may have things, but he stuffs them away because he thinks it's not right, and he doesn't. And he also thinks that a teacher should not have those feelings, that they should hold to a higher level, let's say. As with all of us, he struggles to walk the line, you know?
Okay.
So what I would say with this is just allow him to do it his way. And
yeah, I guess
if he
you don't have a choice.
No, you don't. Not because he's not going to cop to it at this point. It's something he has to deal with and decide for himself where or if he's going to take this anywhere. I I wouldn't lean on him or expect anything. It's just his issue. It's something he's wrestling with, okay?
It just feels like such an invasion of my privacy.
Well, what I would do then is I would say before I go to sleep at night, I don't want you to come into my dreams. I don't want you to intrude on me, you know, and ask whoever it is that you pray to.
Right. I have been doing protection dreams and, you know,
yes,
mantras and things like that, but that never to have any effect.
Well, do you want me to ask him not to come into your dreams at night?
Yeah, I mean, unless there is a higher reason, if it's helping me, I didn't know if.
I think it's mixed. And I think he's struggling with something. So let me just go to him. She doesn't want you to come into her dreams at night. Stay out of her dreams until she tells you it's okay. Just stay out of her dreams. Stay out of Kathy's dreams until she feels it's okay, or if she feels it's okay for you to come in. So
ask me permission.
Ask her permission. Back off and ask her permission before you come into her dreams. Before you come into whatever it is you're coming into. Please consider this. All right. Bam. All right. All right, Kathy. We'll see what happens next. Very interesting.
Great. Thank you.
Okay, honey. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Oh, geez. I've only got 4 minutes. Let me see what I can do for Ellie in Oregon. Ellie, it's Venus. I've only got a few minutes here. What can I do?
Venus, my son was found dead recently, a couple of years ago. And and it's gotten kind of odd with a strange ex-wife and the arrangements that are being made. So I want to know what actually...
Wait, did he die 2 weeks ago or two years ago?
Probably a little over 2 weeks ago. We're waiting.
Oh, weeks. Okay. So what's happening?
But there's things happening, with ex-wife and arrangements that's been very hard for me to kind of deal with. So I wanted to know a couple things: what happened to him, and then how do I handle this situation?
Okay, so nobody knows why he died?
Where they're waiting on autopsy results, which can take a while.
Excuse me, where was he found?
In California, in his bed.
Okay, and he just was dead with no discernible reason?
Not obvious.
Okay,
at least the coroner told me it's not obviously foul play or anything they noticed, but I wouldn't rule anything out.
Okay, what's his first name, or what did you call him?
Dan.
Dan. Ellie's son, Dan. Let's see if I can get anything. Just a couple of minutes here. Dan. What happened to you? Why did you die? I felt like a headache or an explosion of some kind inside his head, the feeling. And I don't know what that would mean. It could have just been what he felt as he left, too. Let's wait and see what the coroner says. But you're having trouble with, how are you doing now? I'm asking him, Dan, how are you doing now? He says, I'm trying to adjust to this because it was so fast and things were left undone and it's like shoelaces left untied, he says. And he worries about people he left behind because there's so much chaos around it somehow.
Yeah, there is.
So what's happening with the wife real quick?
Well, a lot of grief happened. I mean, through even though they were divorced for a long time.
Yeah.
And issues around that, and both I and my son and his father all were kind of afraid of her, So and it's turning out because his two children are, even though they're not very old, are next of kin. Directly, the ex-wife is kind of in control, and now there's a memorial down there, and they're going to be there, her and her new husband. I mean, it's hard to take after all that.
Yeah.
He was not ever at peace with her, so I'm trying to figure out. I don't really want to go there. But I want to do the right thing all the way around.
Okay, you know what? I've got 1 minute, less than a minute. So what I'm going to do here, because I can't look into all that, there's no time. I'm going to send out a good mojo for you and everybody out there for peace of mind, for everything going the way it should, for the best for all, okay? Woo! Bam! Mojo! Woo! 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 Mojo! Woo! 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 To calm the waters. Woo! 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 Going round and round. Bam! 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 Thinking good thoughts for you, and I wish I'd had more time, but sorry, This has got to be really hard on all of you. Bam, bam, there's some gold light, and all the angels and the high beings, bam, bam, to be with you. Thank you for the call, Ellie. I'll be thinking good thoughts for you. Thank you all for coming today. This is Venus Andrecht with the Dear Venus Show. I'll see you next week, and we'll talk about your health and food additives and whatever else we want to talk about. Venus Andrecht, Dear Venus Show. See you next week. Love you. Bye.